You know, Ohio State, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Penn State, others do not know the joy of an in state conference opponent. They just don't. The only one of those is Michigan. Indiana and Purdue play each other, and then Northwestern, Illinois. But of the top echelon in the Big Ten, the only one that has to deal with this is Michigan. This is the Michigan State preview versus Michigan. Michigan at Michigan State. This is the first time I've looked at Michigan State since last year when we played them, I'll be honest. Peyton Thorne is at Auburn now. Noah Kim was benched for Katin Hauser. So let's get into this preview, and I'll give you a prediction for this game as well. But I'm telling you, they're always a thorn in Michigan's side. Michigan is going for win 997 on the entirety of history at Michigan State this week. Michigan State is 729, 483 losses, and 44 ties all time in program history, and they have 9 conference championships. They claim some national titles. 6? No way. Michigan leads the all-time series in this rivalry 72-38, and there were 5 ties. D'Antonio recently had a nice chunk of those wins for Michigan State. Their head coach now is Harlan Barnett. He is 0-3 all-time coaching as a head coach. He's the interim for Michigan State after Tucker tucked it under and ran, but he is suing the institution, so we'll see what comes of that. It's a circus right now in Michigan State. But offensively, Katin Hauser started last week versus Rutgers and lost, but he was 18 of 29 for 133 yards and 4.6 average per completion is not good. But he had 2 passing touchdowns. They have a couple of running backs. Nathan Carter, 113 carries for 529 yards, 4.7 average, and 4 touchdowns. And he has 10 carries for 10 catches for 55 yards. Running back number 2 is Jalen Berger for them, 24 carries for 90 yards, 3.8 average, and 1 touchdown. Does that remind you of somebody? Maybe Donovan Edwards for Michigan. Their 1-2 punch. Clell Mullings was out last week. Hopefully he can be back this week. And we saw what Ben Hall can do. But, running back is slim for Michigan State. Let's talk about their receivers. We're going to focus on Michigan State just like we did Indiana last week. We all know what Michigan has. Talent and everywhere. Talent and dominance everywhere. But probably the best wide receiver is Monterey Foster Jr., 24 catches for 274 yards, and that's an 11.4 average and 1 touchdown. Trey Mosley still there, 23 catches for 228 yards, 10 average, and 2 touchdowns. And then Jaron Glover is a guy, he has 12 catches with a good average, 18.9 average per catch. And same with Tyrell Henry, 9 catches for 93 yards, 10 average, and 2 touchdowns. That's the guy that they're all blaming the Rutgers loss for because he did not catch the fair catch, and Rutgers went on to win that game. But let's not pile on that guy. Michigan State sucks all the way around. So it's not just on him. Christian Fitzpatrick had 8 catches for 169 yards. That's 21 average. So there are some guys here. Antonio Gates, 3 catches, 77 yards, 25.7 average and a touchdown. There are some guys here where we have to keep an eye on defensively for Michigan State. And then tight end, they have Malik Carr, 17 catches for 169 yards and 9.9 average and 1 touchdown. So keep all of them in front of us, just like we plan on doing with Ohio State's guys and with Penn State's guys, and Tua. We'll lock all of them down. That's no problem. Defensively, there were a couple of guys that a couple that stood out to me. I'll name four, but only two of them really scare me as a Michigan Wolverine. Cal Halliday at linebacker, 41 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. Seems to be a playmaker. And then at linebacker as well, Aaron Brule, 23 tackles and 2 sacks. So they're good in the middle. They do have a guy at defensive back, two guys actually. Malik Spencer, 36 tackles. And then Angelo Gross had 29 tackles and 2 interceptions so far this season. And then that defensive line, they have a guy that has 2 sacks but only 10 tackles. So how really valuable is he? If you look at the team stats, it's Michigan all the way in every category. They score 39 points per game, which is 10th in the nation, and MSU gives up 24 points per game. Offensive yards per game, Michigan rolls up 414. It's not the greatest in the nation, but hey, we put points on the board. Defensive yards per game, Michigan State gives up 334. So will Michigan's average go up again? I tend to think so. It is a night game. It is at least Lansing. So we'll have to see. But defensive points per game, Michigan is first in the nation, giving up only 6.7 points per game, while Michigan State's struggling to get 22 points per game. Defensive yards per game, Michigan is giving up 233, which is second in the nation. And the Michigan State's yards per game is 350. So something's going to have to give there. I think Jesse Mentor and those guys will win. Will Michigan continue the trend of 30-plus points and 10 or less points given up this season? I think they will. Michigan will win this game. There's no doubt about that. But how much will they win by is the question. I think Michigan scores 38 points. Okay, I know we're accustomed to 52, but this is a rivalry game on the road, and they do not like us. The tunnel incident last year, etc. Their defense is really sad, and their offense is almost as sad. But I think we only get 38 points, and we give up 7 points defensively. 38-7, Michigan wins this game pretty handily, and that keeps the ball rolling into Purdue. We have a bye week next week, and I think it's Purdue, and then right after that is the gauntlet of the season. At Penn State, at Maryland, and then Ohio State at home. So let me know down below what you think about this game. It isn't on Halloween for once, which is good. The spooky things happen. It is still the spooky season. Things happen here, but I just don't think Michigan has too many horses, too many people coming at you to where Michigan can survive. Michigan State can survive this. So, I keep saying Michigan for Michigan State for Michigan. They should be the same goddamn team, all in one. Like Ohio owns their state. Ohio State owns their state. Minnesota owns their state. Iowa owns their state, although they have a good rival in another conference. See where I'm getting at? Only Michigan has to deal with this. It's pissing me off. Hope relegation is a thing going forward. Go Blue.